Shalom Akim. I'm gonna give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakah, Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who teach and real well. And say, taste all the Akim, all four corners of earth who's pushing the truth of sincerity. Shalom Akim. I wanted to get into this article and something that I've been hearing about the news for the last two weeks or so. And this is nothing new. The weapons that they're using, they've used it previously on people. You have this thing that's going on, I'm going to say it's in Puerto Rico, where delegates from America have been over there in these hotels, and they just all of a sudden said that they just started vomiting and throwing up. And I'm like, what the hell going on? They try to blame it on the hotel. They wash with this, they cleanse with this and that. So I was thinking maybe they were trying to mess up the money flowing through the hotel. That's a good way to do it, scare the people, you know what I'm saying? Bad press scares people. But then I had to think about it. And then some things were put into play. They were saying who was all at the hotel. These weren't no regular people at this hotel. The people that are throwing up weren't regular people that are throwing up. So, got my noodle thinking, where have I seen this before? Esau has a weapon. He has a microwave weapon, He showed you on years ago, there was a show that used to come on called Weapons. And he would show the different weapons that he was bringing out, upgrading them, making them better, from the regular M16 to the M4 to the different gun variations, all the way up to this microwave weapon that they had. They said that they've been had it since like a war ago, and they were. I want to say they used the last time they really heavily used it was in like Afghanistan or somewhere or Iraq, But yeah, basically it says weapon that brought Venezuelan soldiers to their knees during Maduro raid. Witnesses account, and I've seen video clips, because it's one thing Esau loves to do is he loves to put his moves in the movies and cartoons and turn them into shows and stuff. So he basically was microwaving the people, man, and some of these weapons will be used on you people, because he's all about supposedly non-lethal restraint, and that microwave weapon is a type of non-lethal to a certain extent because it can kill you. They said the people, once they got they said people were throwing up and busting noses and blood shooting out their eyes and ears and shit, man. They said it was just a crazy scene, a chaotic scene. Esau has something called the Geneva Convention, where he makes up rules to war and the weapons they can use during war. And some of these weapons that he uses is against the Geneva Convention. But when you make the rules, you can break them as well. This is Proverbs 4:16. Let me go up. Proverbs 4:14. Enter not into the path of the wicked and go not in the way of evil men. Something about this whole Venezuela thing is odd. They're saying that this Maduro was a CIA operative from the whole time, man. Don't forget, we also had, remember they we got Maduro who's in power, but they had Guido a few years ago who was supposed to take over. But the people didn't deal with Guido. But yeah, this is something's odd going on, man. So is the whole Venezuela in bed with Esau? That's a question. This is Proverbs 4:15. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it and pass away. For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall, man. And once again, these CIA operatives, they're put in power, and at certain times when it's time for them to come up, they come up for air or do whatever job they were sent there to do. Was Maduro put into power just to show, eventually later down the road to give the oil to America? That you could these are different scenarios you come up with, man, because this is something's odd going on, man. Proverbs 4:17. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence, man. And that's all Esau is about, is violence, man. So when you're in bed and you're doing business with this devil, expect violence to come behind it, man. Another thing that caught my eye when they caught this Maduro guy, they had him in a Nike suit, They had him in a jumpsuit. They had him in 4 different suits before he finally landed the plane or got out and was walking around. You know, that's red flags all across the board, man. How do you capture a man and his wife, and now the clothes that he had on changes every minute or two, you know? So it's a lot of red flags going on, man. But they you know, these weapons they're using, you know, they got something, like I said, called the Geneva Convention, where all your weapons and guns are checked in, and they tell you what you can use, what you can't use. This gas is okay, you can't use that gas, you can't use that type of gas, but this gas is okay, you know? That's what they do. And I keep going back to the CIA if Maduro's one, because once again, the way he gave over his country, he had all his military power. You know, these guys on bikes, well, not really military power. I shouldn't say that, because against America, you're gonna get squashed. You know, but you know, he had his followers and everything, and like I said, he got microwaved and brought down to their knees. They said that the U.S. used a powerful mystery weapon that brought Venezuelan soldiers to their knees, bleeding through their nose and vomiting blood during the daring raid to capture dictator Nicolas Maduro. So yeah, once again, like I said, Esau has a Geneva Convention with these weapons, and a lot of these weapons, you know, that America uses on its people and on other countries are not allowed. But once again, it's code talking, the way they word things. We're not at war with Venezuela. We just invaded, so therefore, I guess we can use whatever weapon we want to, you know. And what was the main purpose of them going into Venezuela? Well, Trump, one of the things Trump said during his meeting, he said, man, how did we go into Iraq and not leave without the oil, man? What the hell were we thinking? And he said, I'm not about to let that happen again. And this was Venezuela, you know? John 10:10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. You know, is that not the whole MO of Donald Trump and his cabinet? You know, is that the whole MO of America at the end of the day? I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly, man. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, this is our job, is to point out this devil, man. You know, and his wickedness that he does. You know, our people, you know, they let me bring that out, because scriptures speak about that, man. This is Ecclesiastes 12:10. Never trust thy enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You know, the Northern Kingdom, you know, they got names for Esau, and they're really gonna find out how wicked this man is, because he's gonna continuously turn it up on them. You know, he's using these different weapons on you. He's kidnapping your president and his wife. You know, and he's putting your country into turmoil. He put a puppet up, but the people didn't want it. You know, so another thing I've been hearing about what's going on in Venezuela is that right now, you know, the other countries surrounding us, primarily Colombia, has blocked off the border, and they were looking out for insurgents coming in, because, you know, America is the type of country that if we could start war over here, let's go to the next country start war. Let's go to the next country start war, you know? So never trust thy enemy, you know? Because Esau is your enemy, man. As much as he paints the picture to be the good guy, he is actually the bad guy. Let me read more. This is Ecclesiastes 12:11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, and take good heed and be aware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. You know? So yeah, he's still wicked, man. You know, he could change his name, change the area he's in, he's still going to be the wicked Edomite of the Bible, you know? I'm bringing some more up because, you know, at the end of the day, our people, you know, they believe in things that Esau has for them, you know? And they believe that under his leadership and tutelage, that they'll be all right, man. And all this devil is coming to do is to steal and kill and destroy, like verses speak about, man. You know, and like I was speaking about earlier, with Maduro gone, it's a power vacuum going on in Venezuela right now, and America's talking about being having Venezuela as the 51st state. Well, damn, didn't they have Hawaii as the 51st state and a few other states, islands they call the 51st states? You know, so America just absorbs who they want to absorb. And let's not forget, they're also trying to absorb in Greenland. You know? So yeah, our job is just pointing this devil out, man. You know, we ain't got too much longer. These weapons that he's using on these other countries, they're going to be used on these people very soon. Mainly you Israelites, you know. And, you know, especially with the turmoil going on in Minnesota, you know, Trump is keen on hitting that damn panic button and sending in the martial law troops. But yeah, with that being said, I just want to stick to this. I seen these articles on these different weapons, and I seen the whole breakdown of the weapons and how the soldiers and how they were able to get to this room where Maduro and his wife was. You know, it's just, you know, hey, we're exposing this devil at the end of the day. With that being said, I'm edifying. Shalom, Akim.